Hey, everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another two filmmakers reviewing one film. And today, my guest is,
Jonathan A. Moody.
yes, it is.
It
And
is.
it is because it's not my name, it's your name.
No, we're both John, but I'm spelled a different way.
Yes. Well, according to my birth certificate, it is John William Lee Ward. There is no Jonathan or John, like Jon. It's John.
John. So you're
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. So, that's how we could tell each other apart. And our names are right down there, too. So,
And I'm wearing glasses right now, which you're not.
yes, and you have Wonder Woman behind you,
I do.
and I don't.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. We are here to talk about WW 84 or WW 84 or Wonder Woman 1984 or Wonder Woman 2 or one of the worst screenplays I have ever seen in my life, 1984. So
So let it all out, man. Get it all out there.
yeah, so that's you had messaged me about Wonder Woman and that you were doing it for your own show,
Yep.
and I said, oh, I hated that movie, and you were kind of positive about it, so it's like boom,
I
I'm
know.
gonna get him
You
on.
like it when you're negative and the other person's positive. Like I know you had Michael on to talk about Halloween Kills and how much
Yeah.
whatever, and then like you just seem to be all into that, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, and then I had Paul on for we did Identity, which is a film I love, and he seemed to like that, so that was a positive one.
Oh, so
And
it's all
then
positive. Okay, that's
so
good.
that was, yeah, and surprisingly Paul liked that one. And then Jack Hunter was on for the new Scream, which
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be I'm negative, he's positive, but then he switched on me. He goes, yeah, after watching it again, I didn't think it was that great of a movie. I'm like, son of a bitch, that's not what this is meant to be.
Sorry. I mean, I only watched this once, so I can't, I can't fully take that into consideration, but I don't know. I had a positive time watching it. I don't know. It didn't bother me that much.
Now you've considered yourself, you've said this on Facebook, that you consider yourself to be a screenwriter first.
Mm-hmm.
So you say that, but yet you have no problems with one of the worst written movies ever made in the history of film and
Okay,
possibly all printed
tell
matter.
me. I would love to know. I would love to know what you thought was so terrible, the screenwriting.
This is okay. So basically, I'm going to use Sam Raimi as an example. Okay.
Okay.
So he's hired to direct Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's studio and Sam Raimi working
Dr.
on
Marvel.
Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the original Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Okay.
the original Spider-Man.
Okay.
And then it's a huge hit. So they go, hey, you know what? We're going to give you full reign. You could do all the Sam Raimi stuff you want for Spider-Man 2. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, cool. So he brings in the characters that he wants to use. It's considered to be the best comic book movie, if not one of the best.
Are you
But
talking
I've
about
heard
Spider-Man 2?
Spider-Man 2. And
Yeah.
then and it's a massive hit, which
Right.
then, of course, for Spider-Man 3, it goes back to the studio took more control than Raimi had, which is why Spider-Man 3 isn't very good.
Right.
So I feel the same thing happened with Wonder Woman. So they did not expect this to be at the time like the highest grossing DC movie that was out there. So critically and fan wise, it was a huge hit.
You're talking about
And
Wonder Woman 1.
Wonder Woman 1, what was
Yeah.
it, 2016 for the 1st
Mm-hmm.
one?
I think so.
Yeah. So Patty Jenkins, you got, Gal Gadot, you got all these, just like, oh my God, this is great.
I keep calling her Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, maybe? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
and I mean,
Gal
I might be
Gadot?
wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I normally mispronounce people's names. So Gal Gadot.
Well,
And
Gal. I always say Gal, but Goal, whatever you want to
whatever
call
it
her.
is,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Sure she's not watching this, and if she is,
Yeah.
hi, call me. Yes.
I like your other movies.
Yeah.
And so then they tell Patty Jenkins, you know what? Wonder Woman did such a great job. We're going to give you free reign all creative control on Wonder Woman 2.
Right.
So then she's just not a director. She's also a writer. She's also a producer. Then we have, I don't want to say her name wrong, Gal Gadot. How did we decide to say it?
A Godot, but it's okay.
Godot.
Don't just,
Now,
just say gal.
she's, of course, coming back as actor. She's coming back as producer. And they pull a Michael Bay. And they are not good enough to do what Sam Raimi did. They go through such expense and they throw everything at the screen. It's excessive. It's to me, this is why I hate Hollywood films. Not all of them, because I want to work for Hollywood, but this is why I hate it. It's such a poorly written screenplay. It's a first draft. It's something that a 10-year-old girl would write.
Like, I mean, you're saying it, but you're giving me examples.
Okay, one, the beginning of the film with the Olympics pretty much serves no purpose in the entire movie.
Except everything about her as a kid and how she was all about how she when she was a kid, she didn't understand about she would cheat. She cheated to try to win.
That wasn't cheating. She didn't cheat.
No, she did cheat because she didn't hit any of the things to make the fire go up.
She missed one.
Yeah,
so
which means that she lost. She had to hit that other one.
But that wasn't cheating. So
cheating was going up and grabbing the thing at the end and trying to win.
No.
When she didn't do it.
Robin Wright says that she took the shortcut.
Right.
So when she got knocked off the horse, she slid down that pathway, got back up on the horse, but the horse was past that last thing that they're supposed to hit, so the blue smoke comes out.
Right.
Okay, so she missed that. But to me, when she goes, you cheated, you lied because you went down the way. No, to me, that's smart. You got knocked off your horse. You're seeing the horse down there. How are you going to get back on your horse? You slide down. Now
she didn't even have her bow and arrow, so she couldn't.
She could be disqualified for not hitting the round thing that makes the blue smoke. Yes, but she didn't cheat and she didn't lie. She just did it, and she was creative and figured out a way.
What they were trying to say is, if you do everything the right way, right? If you go and do everything that you're supposed, you hit everything that you're supposed to, but if you don't, you have to go and hit that thing. And if you don't hit it, then you can't go up there and cut in front of everybody and get back on your horse that's still running and go and take the,
why not?
Because it's not the way the game is played. It's not. It would be like we
don't know the rules. We weren't told the rules, and nothing says you must stay.
That's kind of understood.
No, it's, to me, she was being smart. She was being, because let's say it was a life and death thing, and she took that shortcut to get down to the horse. Then nobody would be saying, "Oh, you lied and you cheated."
Yeah, say it was a life or death thing, and she missed the one thing that she was supposed to do before then, and then told everybody, I hit that, I'm fine. I did that one thing. That would be lying. The whole movie is about, right. So she shouldn't have tried to get the thing at the end. She should have just accepted that she didn't win. She didn't accept that she didn't win. And that, to me, was how she was as a child. Her mother tells her, Robin Wright tells her, you're going to grow up to be a great woman right now, but right now you have to be patient. She had to learn patience and a lot of other things in order to become the woman that she is. And because of that, she helped save everybody. And, in a way, it was needed. I thought.
I don't know, because Warner Brothers apparently did not think that, and told Patty Jenkins, you have two beginnings. You have to cut one, and beginning one was the Olympics. Beginning two was the shopping mall. And she said, no, if you want me to direct Wonder Woman 3, you're leaving it all in. Because if you took out the Olympics, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered at all.
Well, I
It's
still think it's
only at the very end she does mention lying, but that's not lying. She didn't lie. She didn't tell her mom, yes, I rode my horse all the way down. She got off the horse. She was creative and said, you know what? I could get right back up on my horse if I
but everybody
down.
But everybody saw that she didn't hit that one mark, meaning that either she is lying by not hitting the one mark and then still going and doing it, or she is
I'm gonna no, because she doesn't say that she hit it.
She didn't need to. She was there grabbing the spear at the end. To go and throw it at the last thing. And they told them, no, you can't.
So she's disqualified for not doing the thing with the round thing with the blue smoke. I don't even know what those things are called.
I don't know what any of it.
Targets
I didn't even know it's called Olympics. I just when you said that, I mean
it looks like an Olympics, but it's to me, when she's talking about lying, that would be if her mom came up to her and said, did you stay on your horse the entire time?
Right.
And Diana goes, yes, I did. Then she would be lying, but she wasn't. She got knocked off the horse. She was creative, went down the path, got back on the horse, but she did miss the round thing with the blue smoke. And then she went in. Now I understand her being upset, saying I could have won, but no, her mother should have said, no, Diana, you're disqualified because you didn't hit your targets.
Was that a word back then?
Lying.
Disqualified?
Huh?
Was disqualified a word back then? I wonder, would have been a word back then.
I would think so. I mean, if you win, lose, I would think disqualified would be in there. So that's my problem with it, is that it's just not, it's the thing is that, and I don't think Patty Jenkins wrote the first one. I don't think she was one of the writers. And I don't think Wonder Woman, I'm just going to call her that, was a producer. And I think that was the problem, is the first Wonder Woman was studio controlled, and sometimes the studio has to control. And that is why that film is good. And the thing is, and even with it taking place in the 1800s, World War I, basically, that it works. It totally works. Now,
wait, the first one? I thought the first was 1940s.
No, I looked it up. It says 18 something. You're the look. I mean,
I don't know. I thought the first movie took place during World War II or something. That was a big reason why I didn't like it. Originally, when I first watched it.
When did Wonder Woman 2000 take? Oh, should have done it that way. I'm pretty sure it said 1800s. So let's see, when did Wonder Woman 2016
1918
take place?
Oh, so it's 1918. It says in 1918, when the American pilot Steve Trevor crashes offshore and tells Diana about World War I. So it's World War I. But
World War I, yeah.
But so you said 1800s, but it was 1918, I think. So, anywho,
I might be getting 18. Actually, it says here in 1910s and World War I.
So 1918.
So okay, so I'm mixing up the 18. So 1910, we'll just say then. So, but it is World War I. I got that right. So that worked, and because that would make sense, because then it was the 1940s was World War II, like the 1920s.
That's when I thought this was. I thought it was
War I.
because I thought they were trying to make Wonder Woman just like Captain America, and everything. And Captain America, the first soldier was, or I think first, whatever the first movie, the first Avenger, I think, or whatever it was called,
right.
Which is one of my least favorite Marvel movies, and that's because I don't care for World War anything. Like, I just don't care about that time periods, you know.
Wow,
I don't.
really?
Yeah, I'm not big into, like watching people talk about war. Now, I'm into the Vietnam War, and stuff, and a lot of the 60s and 70s stuff, but I'm not really into the, World War. I just wasn't into the history of that stuff because I found it to be I don't know, just not my not the stuff I'm into. But anyway,
yeah, 1918. So I'm looking it up. So I said I got the 1800 from 1918. So yeah, that's
whatever.
what I meant to say.
Anyway,
1918. But yeah, so it's so that's my thing, is that it doesn't, we don't know, and we did get a little bit of her as like a kid, in the first film, if I remember correctly, but to me, it's not established enough. They spend so much money and so much time on this opening that if you dropped it, it wouldn't matter. I mean, and it kind of shows that when you look at something like, let's say, Jurassic Park Dominion, they cut the beginning off. Universal said the movie was too long. They cut that prologue off. It didn't affect the movie at all. Even though I like that prologue, it's better than what they came up with. But
I mean, she could have said, let's cut that, and then if you'll just give it to me for like a director's cut kind of approval, and we can put it out on HBO Max as
Schneider or something.
Patty Jenkins, WW84. Honestly, it didn't bother me. I mean, I like it. Even if it didn't matter, I kind of liked it. I kind of like going back into her past and seeing her as a kid and seeing her family. And who doesn't love to look at Robin Wright? I mean, like, she's fucking the Princess Bride. So I'm okay with it. It's just, you're right. I mean, you're right. If they cut it out, it really wouldn't have changed a damn thing if they started up. But I don't think they could have. I don't think the mall scenes would have been a good opening, scene, honestly.
The mall, which is when I messaged you, it said this is Superman 3, because it is Superman 3 during the credits. It's all comedy, it's all stupid. In was it Batman versus Superman? She says that she went into hiding for like 60 years or whatever it was. Well, that's funny, because in 1984 she's swinging around a mall. And then she's saving.
If you said 60 years, then I guess it would have been 88 then, right?
I don't know. I don't know the exact date. I'm just kind of naming off what it was: 55 years, 60 years, whatever she says in Batman vs Superman. She or Batman v Superman, that she tells Bruce Wayne that she went into hiding.
I totally forget anything that's said in that movie, because other than Martha. That's the only things I remember.
I mean, and I like that film. I like the Schneider cut of it, but she does say she went into hiding after the first movie. So if she pulled a Ben Kenobi, then how could she have adventures if she went into hiding? And that doesn't make sense, because is it up until Batman v Superman that she came out of hiding? Or as Wonder Woman, I think she was just Diana Prince from just working, and that she was, but she wasn't Wonder Woman, is what I got.
I don't know why they decided to do 84 and didn't just decide to do it after the events of like Justice League or one of the other ones that were like right after Wonder Woman.
Because I don't think they have a plan, man. Marvel's just as bad. Not Marvel. DC's just as bad as Disney. There is no plan. It's like they just make movies, and none of it makes sense.
Disney, like, are you saying Marvel or and Star Wars or something? Like, what are you?
I'm Disney encompassing all of that. Yeah, it has.
I think Marvel always has a plan. We may not understand it at times, but they have a plan. There's a guy there directing. There's a god. His name's Kevin Feige, and he's directing everything.
For the most part, they do.
Right.
But
the problem with
Black Widow, 10 years too late type of thing, and some of these
No,
other
that
things.
was a contract issue, I believe. They won't flat out say this, but Scarlett Johansson had one more, movie on her contract, and they fucking killed her off in Endgame, which was stupid.
Yes.
Which, I mean, did not give any honestly, people are pissed that she died, first of all. So spoiler alert, sorry if you haven't seen Endgame, but it's been out for quite a while. So if you haven't seen it, then you're an idiot.
Who are you, Chris Evans?
I don't know. Probably not. I'd be getting a lot more money if I were.
Well, Chris Evans called everybody an idiot, and then Lightyear bombed.
Well, that was
like bombed.
I know it did so terrible, and Tim Allen even came out and said he was well, he had said, got asked about Lightyear, and he's like, if there's no Woody, there's no Lightyear. And he thought when they came to him and said they were going to do a Lightyear movie, they're going to do live action. He'd heard live action, so that's, I believe, the plan originally was to do a live action. And he was like, great, Chris Evans can play Buzz Lightyear, like whatever. And then they decided to do it as a cartoon, and it just was a terrible idea, like no reason whatsoever. But
well, there's a whole thing to get involved in Lightyear, and I don't really want to get into it with the lesbian women and all that stuff that I think added to the film bombing. And
right.
And I'm Democrat, and I say that. So but they focused on way too many of the different things. But it's, yes, I will agree. So I'll take back my Marvel comment with, I would probably say like 98% is well structured and put together as far as a timeline goes.
Right.
But when you look at something like, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is a much better example to use for a DC Comics.
I have a good discussion with you on this, okay? Because I believe you're correct. I believe that Kathleen Kennedy, who is running half of the, even though her name is executive producer, she's not part of the Filoniverse. She's not doing Mandalorian. She's not doing, the terrible Boba Fett show.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, which
Book of
was
Boba
so...
Fett.
No, it was like a Book of Boba. Oh, we can't do Boba Fett anymore. We're going to do Mandalorian. Like it became Mandalorian season 2.5, and just because nobody really cared about Boba Fett. But Boba Fett wasn't enough interest that everybody wanted Mando back.
Well, I think people care about Boba Fett. They didn't care about the story that was being told, because it's
true.
Even the actor who played Boba Fett said, in season 2, can we please bring Boba Fett back? He even admitted that this wasn't Boba Fett.
By the way, the Mando is in this movie, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Yes, and he's the best thing in this movie.
I will totally agree with you.
I think that he was having total fun. He got it. He knew what he was going, what was going on. But I think the problem with these studios, they don't have a plan,
and they there's too many cooks that spoil the soup. So like, wherein Marvel, mainly Kevin Feige, is in charge, right? And so he gives the blessings on certain things. And see, here's the big problem too. It's like Patty Jenkins is a great director. Like she's a fantastic. Well, before Wonder Woman, she was doing amazing movies,
like,
didn't she do I'm trying to think of the one I was thinking of. Monster. I mean, you can't say Monster was good. Not a damn good movie. She did a lot of TV too before she went back to Wonder Woman.
I wouldn't say that she was a great director. I would say that she's a good director, but I think one of the problems is when studios grab somebody who makes independent movies and then gives them a $20 million, $50 million, $70 million movie to make.
Well,
and which
except
is why
John Watts, who did Spider-Man, came from like movies like Clown and Cop Car and stuff like that, and then made this amazing, made Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man movies.
Which Spider-Man?
Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home.
So I would have issues with all three of those films, and it's the scripts. The scripts are not very good.
He wrote them, did he?
I'm not sure. I know that my biggest problems with those were basically how they dealt with the villains. And it, to me, that was not Vulture. That was, and then Mysterio, that was not Mysterio. And then for, No Way Home, okay, it's great having the three Spider-Men together, but the story kind of sucked. It was not well written. And that's my biggest complaint with all these films, and why people call me a hater. It's like, yeah, okay, it's well directed, like Wonder Woman 1984, or whatever you want to call it. It's directed fine, it's edited fine, it's produced fine, it's acted fine. It's beautiful looking, good cinematography, but the story sucks. It is awful because it's. And you asked me to give you examples, and I'm going to give you the one example that everybody gives.
I want it real quick. I just want
Sure.
everybody to know that is 4th of July. So if you keep hearing things go off in John Ward's background, that's fireworks going off constantly. Because
no, that's my anger over this movie. Why can you hear the fireworks?
Yeah, I can. I don't know. I'm sure everybody can then. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
hear it in my background because. Actually, right before, because we're 3 hours in difference, right before before we started this thing, there were people still throwing off fireworks. They stopped like right before the show. So
wow. So where you are, it's already 2023.
Not yet. It's what? where what? Wait, it's not New Year's. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the example that everyone gives. The guy that Steve goes into. So she makes her selfish wish, which is not a lie. She makes her selfish wish that she wants Steve back because she's been pining, Chris Pine, over.
Roll my eyes. I don't know if you could tell.
For freaking decades, because no guy is as great as the guy who she hung out with for 3 days, which to me is stupid as hell, but they just wanted Chris Pine back. So she makes the wish, and he just goes into some random guy. So this is a huge plot hole. One, who is this guy? He has a job. He probably has friends and family. Steve just plops right into his body, and then Diana and Steve have sex, which means then that she's fucking some stranger, which is rape because the guy didn't give his consent. Steve did, and they're just using his body for an endless amount of time, putting him in total danger, and that is bad writing. This is, if the roles were reversed, women would be insane about this. That a guy is taking advantage of a woman's body, but considering it's flipped.
I think I did hear some people say that. I think I heard some people actually say that was rape. And
it's incredibly creepy. It's so bad. But it's not as bad as Ghost. And if you remember Ghost, Whoopi Goldberg is speaking for Patrick Swayze. So that means all those scenes where Patrick Swayze is with Demi Moore with the famous pottery scene, and they're having sex and all that type of stuff, that's all Whoopi Goldberg. We're seeing it as Patrick Swayze.
Are you sure about that? Because she wasn't in the scenes with, like, it wasn't like a scene where she woke, like, was it Demi Moore looked over and go, "Oh my God, it's Whoopi."
Because it's the same thing that they say in this, where Wonder Woman goes, "I don't see that other guy. I only see you, Steve."
All right.
But if it's not Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, then whose arms are wrapped around Demi Moore while they're doing the pottery scene?
I thought it was her. I thought it was his ghost. I mean, I thought
he goes into
I
Whoopi
thought he only
Goldberg.
went in. I'd have to rewatch that movie, but I always remember it as he only went a couple times into her, but most of the time he was there with her when she was doing some of that stuff and she could feel him like around. I don't think he possessed her.
No, I think he possessed her because he couldn't even remember. He learns from the guy on the train who keeps saying, "Get off my train." I think eventually he trains him to where he can grab something and move something. But it's yeah. I mean, if you look at it, it's so
Okay.
this to me is kind of the same thing, and it's so creepy, and it's, you know,
I didn't think about that, but now if I ever watch it again, I will be thinking about that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
That.
So
yeah, I think that's disgusting, and I think that's disturbing to think about that they're using. But in Supernatural, TV show Supernatural, demons possess the bodies, or basically take over the bodies and stuff, or even like angels will need a vessel, so they will ask somebody, but they usually ask, they're very polite. They'll say, would you be okay with me taking over your body? And usually they're, God serving people who, want something, want to do something for the world, and having an angel take over your body is a bit, but that's the thing, like, they are using somebody else's vessel, they're using somebody else's body, and so that's not okay if the person never gave consent to use their body. It's just all of a sudden.
But it's different in something like this because this isn't like a demon or an angel. This is somebody making a wish. Now, granted, she would not, she made this wish. She
granted.
Know how he came back. What?
You said granted.
Yes. Why?
Yeah, you like your wishes granted.
Oh, how dare you? And so she doesn't know how he's going to come back, and he happens to come back in this guy's body. Now, Of course, this guy could be a stalker, and maybe he's duping her. Who knows? He's a con man. But I
don't know. If you remember, she sees him. She only sees Steve.
Right,
which we only see Steve.
But that's why I read, like, in her brain, and she only sees Steve, so we only see Steve because he looks in the mirror and he sees the other guy and he goes, "Okay, this guy will do." And it's like, ew, even you should be, Steve's going, "Why am I in this guy's body? This is really creepy. You're like using this guy. Send take your wish back then."
Well, I mean, he can't, maybe he thought of it as like reincarnation, like if you were reincarnated, you would never know, brought up. And you would never know. It's sort of brought up that he didn't understand why he was brought back. Like, he talks about how he remembers crashing in the thing and then nothing for a while, right? And then all of a sudden he's woke up in this body, right?
But and she does explain to him about the stone, which is why he says at the end, you have to take your wish.
Exactly.
back.
He's like, you have to renounce your wish and you have to let me go, which I liked. I liked that at the end. She was like, I don't want to let you go. And he was like, I'm already gone,
It's actually the only scene in the movie that I like. I like her walking away and around the corner, and she's really upset, and I like that. That's the only part of the whole movie that I like.
I figured you liked that scene, but it's, I mean, you're right. It's got some bad writing to it.
Yeah, it's not like I Married a Monster from Outer Space, like that film from the 50s where the alien comes down and takes over the husband. And then the wife is like kind of weird on it, like, he doesn't seem right. So it's not like that. It's that she knows that her wish put him in somebody else's body, that she's having sex with some guy's body. Right. She's putting his body in danger. All of this stuff. I mean, what if Steve died? What if they had him die because maybe Chris Pine didn't want to come back for part 3? That guy would be dead.
Well, he's gone. Her wish was read out, so
right, but he's fine. But like, what if the guy was shot in the head? Like, they're in the White House, a security guy shoots Chris Pine in the head.
Very well could have happened.
Yeah.
They were putting a random civilian, a civvy, in complete and actual danger, but they didn't care, obviously, because
Which
they
is
get to see each
horrible.
other again. Because they get to see each other again, but they're not. Once again, I mean, after a while, I don't think she's thinking. And just like me, I wasn't thinking about the other dude. I was thinking about, oh man, we get Steve again. But I was even like me. I was like, oh man, we get Steve again. I don't like Chris Pine. I've talked about this before to you. I am not a fan of Chris Pine. I think he is.
So you don't pine over him?
I don't like. I feel like he is the worst Chris. Like I choose Chris Pratt over Chris Pine any day.
Oh God, no way! I mean,
I
God,
know.
just watch my new Jurassic World Dominion video, and I'll tell you how I feel about Chris Pratt.
You put Chris Pine in there, it won't be any better. It might even be worse.
I prefer him because at least he can play Captain Kirk.
I hate Star Trek, so maybe that's another reason I don't like him.
God, you hate many things.
I don't hate. I don't like. I just never. My idea is, to me, Star Trek is like politics. If I wanted to get into politics now, I would have to do a lot of research.
But Avengers is politics, and you love
Avengers,
Marvel.
Okay, so Avengers Civil War.
How was Captain America made?
Yes, Civil War was one of my favorite movies of Marvel, and it's the most political because it's about is this right, or is this, or working with government, or doing stuff on your own, being controlled, blah blah blah. And the funny thing is, I take Iron Man's side, which you would probably take Captain America's side, because you wouldn't want to be controlled by the government. But I would take Iron Man's side because I feel like if you're going to do damage to the world, you should let people know before you're going to go fuck up like a whole country, and stuff. And they should be able to like make sure you don't do anything that's going to get the United States in like lots of fucking, trouble. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But the point is, I politically, I like that movie, and I'm not into politics. And so I don't, when I watch a Star Trek movie or whatever, I haven't seen I'd have to watch from the Star Trek TV show on, and that's a lot of episodes. And I just don't have the patience and time. And then I have to watch Star Trek Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek blah 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 blah.
Well, those are the ones, to watch. You can avoid anything with Alex Kurtzman. So
and J.J. Abrams, right? Like
yeah. I mean, it's just that you could kind of put politics into almost anything, and
right.
But I want to go on with the script issues. So they need a plane,
right?
So they go to the Smithsonian and get a perfectly working jet that has fuel in it that they don't need a key to get into. They just hop into it. And
I didn't understand that because I didn't understand that because it, just like you said, like how did she know about it? Like did she? I mean, and they just like literally just walk up. They don't have to knock any guards out. They don't have to do anything. They just walk up. Like
you or I could walk up to it and hit a button and take off in it. I guess.
I mean, he seemed to know this,
but he shouldn't. If he's from 1910, 1918. There we go. I'm still getting my dates wrong. 1918. He would not know how to fly that jet. He wouldn't.
Probably wouldn't.
It's completely
because he was kind of looking a little bit different, but he seemed to know. Like he was like, "Oh, here's the engine, here's the fuel," like blah 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 blah. Press these buttons. He said it. So I don't know. As a person who's just like, I'm not a pilot. I don't know how much things have changed like completely. Like
no, but you know when things are a little fake. I mean, when you're watching My Cousin Vinny, that's not how a courtroom is handled. But I'm not a lawyer or a judge.
Well, everybody says that's the best court movie ever, so
that's completely wrong.
Lawyers love it. But
I mean, you don't talk to a judge that way. So
Oh no, you don't. But
I've
you
watched
also
enough
get
Judge Judy to know that.
right. Well, also he got thrown in, in jail a good amount of times for talking to him like that. So I believe contempt was, was a big
It's a
thing.
good comedy, but it's not like you're going to go, okay, now that I've watched My Cousin Vinny, I can be a lawyer.
Oh,
So,
no. And you're not going to go there and say, man, I just learned something new from this movie. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just more a matter of like, that's a fun, cute little,
but it's because it's a comedy, so you could do
right.
that. But in something like this, where she's like, I know where a plane is, and they walk right out onto the, out onto the field, and then they get right into the plane, and he starts it, and he's going down the runway, and then he's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And she goes, oh, I once turned a teacup or whatever it is invisible. Let's turn the plane invisible. What? When the fuck did that happen? When did you learn that?
Was that in the first movie?
No, she did not have the invisible plane in the first movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I figured that was the first movie, and that was a reference.
No, they just pulled that.
It's been a while
out of
since
her
I've seen the first one, and I remember only seen it twice. And the first time I tried watching it, I gave up like halfway through and was like, "Fuck this! It's set in 1918. I can't take this."
No, it's set in the
period.
1800s.
Yeah, whatever.
No,
it's set in a time period that I just was not into. And then I watched it again a second time, and I got through the parts I didn't like. And then right after I got through the parts I didn't like, that's when the movie picked up and actually became like more fun to me. So I don't know. I would say that that Wonder Woman 1 was way better than this movie for sure.
Yes.
So
well, and they just pull stuff. So then they take the plane, and they're, I don't know if that's true or not, that they wouldn't have to refuel or not. I mean, it is a jet. I don't know if you could fly from like America to like Saudi Arabia on a tank of gas. Since in Top Gun, they're constantly refueling, and they're out in the middle of the ocean on an aircraft carrier. But and plus this whole thing with Max Lord, as much as I actually like the actor who plays him, and I think he's having a lot of fun, and I know what they're doing. I mean,
Pedro Pascal, man.
Well, he's supposed to kind of be Donald Trump in a way, but he's also all those guys from. Yeah, he is.
I never got that from him.
Yeah, they mentioned that they wanted somebody that was current, because he even says I'm a reality show host.
I thought
he says it in the movie.
I thought he was just on TV saying that there's something about oil. He's an oil guy who hadn't really been doing anything with oil.
There's a throwaway line where he says, "I'm a reality show host," or like I'm a reality show.
I remember that.
But, and so I think that was their little jab at Trump. But it's but he
didn't grab any pussy, so that's good.
That's true. Well, he did grab his kid. Does that count?
No. That don't ever say that. That's weird. No.
And is this kid adopted? They look nothing alike.
I think we never see the mom, do we? Or we saw the mom once.
But the kid might be mixed, but it's just like, wow, you could not find a kid who looked like any more different than the actor.
Right.
So unless maybe that's like a producer's kid, because the kid's a crappy actor. So the
kid is so funny because like at one point he's saying like he's having all the people around him or whatever, and he's talking, and he's like, the one guy that like his assistant, and he's like, what, who do I have today? And he says this, and then he said his son, and he goes, I have my son today. Is that every day now? All right. And you hear the son like cry and run off.
And runs up behind the wall.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh shit, he's here, isn't he? And then like the later he calls in the kid, and the kid's just like, hi, Dad. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to you being like upset that your dad is a dick? Like, why? Like, like this kid is like the nicest kid in the fucking world or something, because I'm sorry, but if I had that when I was a kid, I would have been like scared to come into the room because he would have been, calling, saying you never didn't want me, and
Well, and I think the mom would have something to say about that. I mean, if the dad has zero time for him and is not making time for him, just here sit on this sofa, I think probably the mom would have something to say. But to finish off what I was saying originally with the type of character that he is I don't know if you're old enough, but we used to have all the time, late night when before we had all we had all those infomercials that came out. And a lot of them were, there was the Saturday Night Live even made fun of him, was the Asian guy who spoke broken English that was on a yacht and that had like a ton of like beautiful bikinied women around him.
I've seen like parodies of that. I don't think I've seen the
and
actual
he was
guy.
famous for that. And it really was broken English. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but it was like, you be rich, you be like me, you get woman like this. And it would be really like broken English, but and he would be saying, if you want to be like me and get these women in this yacht, you're going to send me money.
Are you saying it would be English?
Oh, yes. Yes, I guess.
I have friends who had a band named English. I mean, I'm not kidding. That was the 2000s for you.
Yeah. But that's who this guy is. And so my problem with him is, and I like the thing of him duping everybody to think that he's rich and he's got all this money when he really doesn't, and he's got all these dry oil wells, and the guy that's maybe his dad, I'm not really sure who that guy is, or just an investor who says, I want my money back.
Oh, I just took it as an investor.
I guess he is. Yeah, I mean,
he didn't say grandpa or anything.
They look close. They got like the same hair and everything.
They could have been. I mean, they could have had him be his father.
I think when I first saw it, I thought it was his dad, and like, oh, you're such a disappointment to me. But now when I watched it, it's like, well, wait, maybe he's an investor, I guess, because they're in the same building.
Yeah. So he's an investor who came into the room to his office to reel him out and tell him, like, basically, he calls him a loser. You're a loser, blah, blah, blah.
Well, fathers call their sons losers.
But I laughed so hard because for somebody who's not a loser, he was on the ground telling his kid, I am not a loser. I swear, I'm not a loser. Your dad. Well,
see, that's why I almost took that he was supposed to be kind of Trump-like, is Trump's dad always used to call him a loser. And that's kind of why Trump is the way he is that his dad was brutal to him. Even though his dad did give him money to start, his dad was very brutal to him. And from what I understand is Trump is pretty brutal to his kids, except for his daughter and, except for Ivanka. And so that's why I kind of thought, well, maybe this is that type of thing, because he does mention the reality show thing.
I don't know. I can't, say yes or no to any of that. Yeah. So what are you gonna say?
Well, and so there's like Kirsten Wiig.
Okay, so I really want to get into this myself too, because at first I was like, why is Kristen Wiig in this movie?
Exactly.
I'm like, this is a superhero movie, not a comedy. Like Ghostbusters, Lady Ghostbusters, fine. That's stupid and comedy.
Bridesmaids,
whatever. Yeah, Bridesmaid, all that, fine. I'm okay with that. Now I get it because Paul Rudd is sort of comedic, like people know him a lot more from his comedies than anything else, and he's Ant-Man. But Ant-Man is sort of funny. Wonder Woman is not funny. Wonder Woman is serious. Wonder Woman is badass. Wonder Woman is like a female, take back the, kind of she should have been like there for the woke generation more so, but I don't even think the woke people want Wonder Woman after this movie.
The film is, and I'm sorry that I'll let you go, this is a man-hating movie. I mean, every man in this film is a scumbag except for like Chris Pine. Like there isn't one decent man in this entire film. I mean, the one guy tries to rape, Wig, when she's walking home, and then she beats the shit out of him. The guys are constantly catcalling her. There's
Right.
not one nice man in this whole film except for Chris Pine, and
And
that I
they're
did
only
take a
nice
little
to her
offense
when
to.
she becomes like hot, when she gets
Right,
what
because
she
they should,
wants.
because she kind of puts that spell on her, and so that's, and plus this is just it's all just Superman. That's all this is. She's Clark Kent, so she's got, she's all goofy and, oh look, my briefcase fell open and nobody will help me, and I'm the
Nobody remembers
klutz.
my name,
Yeah,
and
she's
like,
very Clark Kent, and then to even where the guy that tries to attack her is like the trucker in Superman 2 that beats up Clark Kent when he doesn't have his powers. And
right.
then when she gets her powers, she kicks his ass. Superman 2, Clark Kent gets his powers, goes back to the bar and kicks the guy's ass.
I like
So,
that scene though. Like that was a good scene in the original Superman 2, but yeah, you're right. Like,
oh,
it
I didn't
feels
mind, Kirsten Wiig kicking the guy's ass because he deserved it.
right.
And I wish that would happen more often. But it's one of these things where, can somebody please be like, the homeless guy was nice.
Yeah.
That's
And then he was like, he said something to her and she was like, mind your own business. So she became like a kind of a bitch.
She became nice.
Know?
Yeah, she became not nice to people.
Yeah, which like even kicking the guy's ass, but that's when she became the villain. And I think that's another reason I didn't like it, because I feel like there's two villains in the movie, and I understand this is Wonder Woman 2. A lot of times, I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of times when there's a 2, there's usually 2 villains. There's usually more than one. Spider-Man 2, there was 2 villains.
Right, Batman Returns.
Batman
Technically,
Returns.
there were 3 villains in that one.
Yeah, there's
Max Shrek, if you
Max Shrek.
Yeah.
Who he wasn't the villain though. Like he's just a douche, or whatever, a rich douche. But the Penguin.
Well, he wanted to like control the city, and
also Catwoman wasn't really. It was half bad, so maybe that made up for Max. Like
she was more like like an anarchist, because she was blowing shit up and all that stuff. And it's and I did compare this, before I forget, to Superman 3, because if you look at it, so Wonder Woman would be Superman, then the cheetah would be, or Kristen Wiig would be Richard Pryor, because he says all the comedy, and then Robert Vaughn would be the Mandalorian, would be Max Lord. So it's very, very Superman 3, which is weird. It's very Superman.
So in the DC comics, I looked it up. There is a Maxwell Lord, but he does not have wish powers. He has telekinetic powers, mind powers and stuff. And I'm like, why didn't they go with that? I mean, the whole wish thing was kind of cool. Like I didn't mind basically having to fight a genie. I thought that was pretty neat, like,
but it's just the monkey's paw, and Wonder Woman even says
they
it's the monkey's
they even
paw.
say it's the monkey's paw. But it's it's the idea of like, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. And the problem with the funniest, the part I liked the best was when he went to, I guess, Saudi Arabia or whatever, and he's talking to the guy and he's like, don't you wish that you had more power and more whatever? And the guy's like, yeah, of course I wish that. And it's like, your wish is granted, so now give me all your oil. And he's like, I gave my oil up to other people over there, I don't have any oil anymore. He's like, well, damn it, I'll just take your security guards.
None of that made sense to me. Absolutely did not make any sense logically to me at all. Because one, if you're going to say, I wish to be the wishing stone or dream stone, as it's called, wouldn't you just become a stone? Wouldn't you become the stone? Why would the stone go inside you? If I said, I wish to be a monkey, I would be a monkey.
The monkey wouldn't go inside me.
Yeah, then I'd be swinging around on trees as a human. He would become a stone. It doesn't. So I don't mind the stone doing the wishes because he's broke and all that, and then he can become rich. I think it's stupid that he becomes the stone and then goes to different places.
They did that just because, like, if he just had the stone, itself, and the stone didn't go inside him, which that sounds like it would be a big pain in the ass. Stone would go, yeah. Uh, oh, I thought you literally froze for a second. I was like, okay, that's a weird thing to freeze on. All right, so if the
Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 9 p.m. my time, which means all the fireworks are going off on top of the hotels. That's what you're hearing right now.
Yep.
And I'm right next to a lot of them.
There you go. So I think the only reason why I went inside him instead of him just having the stone, which would be an interesting thing, is if he was just going around to people and saying, whatever, what do you wish for? Oh, you're gonna get it, but whatever, right? He had to have it. I didn't. Well, okay, and if he had not had it, like it just was there, she could have just taken it back from him, right? And the movie would be over.
But that's the thing, is that it should be him against her to get the stone. Right. So it goes back and forth between both of them instead of, I mean, they're in Saudi Arabia. They're the country's desert, and they just happen to be on the same road, crisscrossing one another. Where she's like, "That's him. That's Max Lord." Really,
very, very convenient.
Billion zillion to one that would happen. Once again, bad convenience. Screenwriting, of course, says that has to happen, and it's so. I mean, all of that to me was just so. None of it made sense. The wall that popped up between the two countries doesn't make sense to me. None of this makes sense to me at all. It just doesn't.
The wall, maybe it's like Trump.
That's what I took it as. Maybe is a little. When I first saw it, I kind of put that in there, but I don't know. Maybe. I was just you were just going on about it as all of Trump, and I'm like, God, now I'm just trying to look for different things that might, might have proved your point more. I don't know. Well, and with being the monkey's paw, where they're saying, something, then like it takes something from you. It seems like with Kirsten Wiig, she only gained. So she wanted to be like Diana Prince, she got it. She wanted to be, I guess, Wonder Woman, she got it. She wanted to be an apex predator, she got it. I didn't see anything being taken away from her. She just became more and more powerful.
That's true. But Diana asked, Diana wanted, what's his name? Wanted Chris Pine back, Steve. And Steve was sort of, nothing happened with Steve. Steve didn't start degenerate, nothing happened with him. Nothing bad happened with him because he got her wish.
Well, and if it's the monkey's paw, if you go off of the story of the monkey's paw and Tales from the Crypt, is his decomposing body is what would have come back. That's the idea with the monkey's paw, is when the family's son dies in the car crash and he's embalmed, the mom's like, I want my son back. And then there's the knock on the door and she opens it and it's him from the autopsy table.
It's funny. Are You Afraid of the Dark did a similar one. It's called The Twisted Claw. So, right, monkey's paw, twisted claw, whatever. But at the end of it, they said, I wish, I wish you'd lose your parents, and all of a sudden he gets a call, I'm sorry, but your parents have died in a car crash, and so the other kid makes another wish that that his uncle was there. You know what to do. His uncle's been dead for whatever, and all of a sudden there's a ring on the doorbell, and he's like, oh my God, we gotta make one final wish. The wish has got to be that we never found the paw, and everything went back, would go back to normal, or the claw, and it does, right? It all disappears, the claw disappears, everything, right? But there's still like that knock on the door, so they go to answer it, and it's the mom and dad who are like, who look at him and like, we forgot, we couldn't figure out how to get the key working, whatever, blah blah blah, something stupid like that, because and then it was like, oh, there was some psycho who almost drove us off the road, right? Because they didn't die from that. So anyway, point is, yeah, a lot of those things have that, and you're right. It would have been a decomposing body, or it would have been like something like that, because you wishing that you had the boyfriend back or the girlfriend back or whoever that died.
Well, yeah, there's even that film Wish Upon with Joey King.
I have it on Blu-ray and I've never seen it.
It's hilarious, and
I'll have
the
to check
ending
it out.
is the best part. It's a bad movie, but it's hilarious.
I'll do it for
with a great
first
ending.
time watch Friday sometime.
Well, so a lot of people criticize that film because she could make these wishes, and she didn't do things like solving world hunger or curing cancer.
Wait,
And
what? The people are complaining about that?
Yeah,
whoever does that, whoever thinks, if they're going to get a wish, they usually do everything's selfish. Nobody ever wishes.
Well, and that's what she does on this, because she's a teenage girl. She goes, I went, wow, those are some. Can you hear all that?
I can hear that. Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. It lasts for about 10 minutes and then it stops. It is, that she wishes to be the most popular girl in school, or she wishes that the football jock was in love with her. And to me, that makes sense. That's logical of what a teenage girl would wish for,
right,
if she had the chance. And so when I look at something like this wishing rock, or dream rock, or whatever they call it, I think they call it both. It's like, this is so dumb. This is so, he grabs the president who's supposed to look like Ronald Reagan, and they even have the jelly beans on the table. And he goes, what do you wish for? And he goes, more nukes. That's, and then it's like, oh, okay. And then there's more nukes. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. How this works.
I guess it does make sense for the plot, because later they need the nukes to, whatever, to use it for attacks on, because later on there's attacks everywhere, becomes, it does become sort of a mess at the end, where there's like so much going on, and it's hard to follow a little bit, because you know what I mean? Like, it's just too much going on. Like, Cheetah, when did she become a cheetah? She just all of a sudden became a cheetah, and she's like fighting. And I'm like, wait, where, huh?
Well, like, Cheetah is Wonder Woman's enemy in the comic books. But I don't know how she was created, though. I just know that she's like the Joker for Wonder Woman. And, but it's because I guess that Kristen Wiig's character saw that Diana had on the leopard skin high heels, and maybe that's where it started with the cheetah thing, and then it just became more and more cheetah.
She just became a cheetah.
I mean, can you know how women at times wear like the cow, like it's black and white with the spots, like that, like a cow coat or a cow shirt or skirt or whatever it is. What if she just turned into a cow?
Paul would have loved it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, because it's not like we saw a picture and then Diana goes, oh, that's a nice picture of a cheetah. And she goes, oh yeah, that's my favorite. My grandfather took that when he was on safari, and something like that to kind of make her like cheetahs. Like, she's really into cheetahs.
Right. Maybe she always wears cheetah stuff or something.
Yeah. Like, maybe she's
I think that would have been, I don't know, that it would have been foreshadowing, but it would have been like obvious foreshadowing of like,
but we know that. I mean, it's in the trailers and everything. I mean, they weren't hiding who she was.
I didn't watch the trailers, so I didn't know.
It's kind of like with Tim Burton's Batman, with Jack Nicholson, before he becomes the Joker, he is playing with a deck of cards.
Yeah. And he has the Joker in his hand. So, but I don't know. I always remember that Batman, like that when I first saw it, that I already knew the Joker was going to be in this movie. So, I just wasn't aware that Cheetah was. I don't follow DC, so I don't read the comics. I don't know anything about Wonder Woman. Didn't know that was her, arch nemesis was the Cheetah. I didn't know any of that. So I'm watching the movie, I was like, whoa, there's just a cheetah. And then I go, oh shit, it's Kristen Wiig. Why did she become a cheetah?
Well, and I wonder with because you questioned her casting, I wonder if they were trying to do like a Michael Keaton type of thing, like you get somebody who does comedy and then you put them into this type of role.
Right.
That's what I was hoping. God, were my fingers crossed, because my favorite superhero is the Green Hornet. And I love the minis, I love all the old cliffhangers. I love the comic books. I love the TV show.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he was great in that. And I love the Green Hornet. I absolutely love it. And that he's a descendant of the Lone Ranger and all this stuff. So then when I heard that, what's his face was going to fuck, now I'm totally blanking from
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen was going to play him. I'm like, oh shit, really? And then I saw what the car looked like, and it was like, okay, this could work. And then they were supposed to have Nicolas Cage as the villain, but he dropped out. And I'm just like, I don't know anymore. And then I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe they're pulling a Michael Keaton. Maybe he's going to give this awesome performance, this really dark, awesome performance. And instead, he's a pot smoking fucking guy.
He's Seth Rogen.
That's Rogen. All he does.
Millionaire, kind of.
And they even make a joke about it in This Is the End, where where James Franco goes, no, actually, I think it was Jonah Hill who goes, wow, imagine if you put that much effort out into the Green Hornet, because it's he ruined it. And so I guess with Kirsten Wiig, because
Kevin Smith was supposed to write the Green Hornet, by the way.
Yeah, and Joe Dante was supposed to direct it, and I thought that was going to be great. And Bruce,
that would have probably been
Campbell.
Great, but unfortunately, Kevin just couldn't handle it. It's too much pressure, I guess. He doesn't write. Like he even described, if you want the Green Hornet and Kato to run for a second, and then talk about the fights that they're going to have, but never show them, then that's Kevin Smith. That's what he says. And I kind of laugh at that, but I think he doesn't give himself enough credit. Like, I think if he wrote with, say he wrote with like James Gunn or something, together, like that would be an amazing like superhero movie.
But he wrote a Superman script. So what would be the difference?
Well, did you read the Superman Lives script that he wrote?
No, just from what he talked about on his
98% of it is dialogue.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
And it's Mallrats dialogue style thing. Like, it's people just talking about shit that's going on. Like his normal pop culture shit and stuff. And that's great, but it didn't. It wasn't the greatest script, honestly. However, he wrote it. He wrote a draft. Originally, I think Nicolas Cage, to go back to it, was going to play, and then Tim Burton was going to direct it. And then Tim Burton.
Back then, I so did not want that. Back then, I was just like, oh my God, this is awful, especially if you've seen that footage of Nicolas Cage, in wardrobe. And he's got that's when he was dyeing his hair black and it was long. And it's weird. Tom Hanks was doing that for a while too, where it's just jet black. And it's like, oh, that's obviously a dye job. And it's just, he looked awful. But now with my love for Nicolas Cage, I would love to see that version of Superman pop up. I mean,
maybe there will be. Maybe there's another Superman. There'll be Superman where he's like in a older Superman or something, and he's gonna fight. I think that'd be hilarious. But giving DC ideas.
I mean, the idea with Superman is that he's supposed to be handsome. He's supposed to be the perfect male. That's the thing. So you can't have Nicolas Cage.
Henry Cavill is a good.
He's a good-looking guy. All of the guys so far that have
Brandon Routh,
very good-looking guy.
Who was the other one I was thinking of? Of
course, Christopher Reeve.
But there was one right after Christopher Reeve. That wasn't Brandon Routh, was it? It was.
It was, yeah.
And then there was somebody between Routh and Cavill, I think, if I'm correct.
Not movie-wise, TV-wise, yeah. There's been a couple of them. Like Supergirl had a guy who played Superman, and I thought he was totally miscast. So I'm like, he's not a good-looking guy. That's the thing. Batman needs the jaw, but you need for Superman has to be the absolute Adonis of men. He has to be like, every man wants to be him, every woman wants to be with him. And so you can't have Nicolas Cage do that. It doesn't work, you know. So
Now,
he's
I know a lot of people hate the cinematic universe stuff, you know, now. Like everybody hates how everything has to be connected. The Snyderverse, which this is part of the Snyderverse, this was produced by Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder and whatnot. But the it needed more connection to the movies, you know, like it needed, and that's another reason why I think I really don't like the fact that it was 84, you know, and whatnot. Like I would preferred it to be later, you know, or something. Like
but who
you
would
said,
she
they're
have
not connected, but
who would she have connection with? That's the thing, is nobody has met her until Batman v Superman.
Right.
Like nobody
so it'd be after
technically knew she even existed.
That's what I'm saying. It should have been after Justice League or after whatever. And you said that they just didn't have a plan. So that's why things are sort of all over the place or whatever. But, and you also said
definitely.
that she's been hiding out since, you know, so technically this movie shouldn't even exist.
Shouldn't, because then I heard that they were going to do from 84, they were going to go to like 94. And it was just going to kind of keep going up until then. But I guess because this didn't perform as well as they thought it would,
I hope Wonder
that.
Woman 3 goes into Wonder Woman 2024, 25, whatever, you know, where it's now, you know, if they're going to keep the date thing going, that's fine. But now place it after the events of all the stuff that have happened since, and make it connect. Like, you know, well, I think that's a big problem with this movie.
But why is it so far? It seems that a lot of these companies, they don't have a plan. Like there's nothing wrong with it. And I'll remove Marvel from that. I think more of the
Sony Marvel has like a messed up plan. Now, however, Kevin Feige has now come over to Sony to help them out, you know, because if you look at Morbius, which bombed badly
twice,
to the point where people are just like, what's going on? And then they've got the new Kraven the Hunter movie. What they should be doing, which they're not going to do, which they should be doing, is take Kevin Feige, say, have him sit down, see him, have him watch the movie, say, you know, is there anything we should change? You know, then go back and fix things that need to be, you know, fixed or whatever, because he's really good at that. But the next Kraven the Hunter movie, the movie Kraven the Hunter, comes out, I think this year or next year, is the first one that's not going to have Kevin Feige, you know, input right into it. And when he's just really good at, and I act like he's a god, but he sort of is, like he's the god of these cinematic universes. He was able to take something like Iron Man and all of them and connect them and make them good. And people are saying they're tired of Marvel, whatever. I'm not Marveled out yet, you know, and I don't think I will be. And neither is your friend Miranda. You know, we both. She's also not DC. Like she likes DC. I don't like DC, but
she's into all of that stuff. She's into DC, Star Wars, Marvel. I think she's actually worse than you. I've never seen somebody who is so wrapped up into all this, which is kind of why I've called it a cult. And it goes back to my thing of, she's also the Star Trek, that not everything is good. You know, you some things can be bad and you can accept that, but still enjoy it. So don't tell me that everything is good when I'm telling you Picard doesn't match Next Generation. It's because I've watched Next Generation from the beginning to the end several times. Right. And Picard doesn't match because it's a different universe. It's right. Not the Next Generation universe. It's the,
which is fine, because it could be a multiverse thing, you know, going for Star Trek, you know.
But just acknowledge that it's not. That's my thing, and it goes for anything. Don't sit there And I think that the problem with these companies is they are trying to go woke. And as we know, if you go woke, you go broke. And nobody wants to be told, and like I said, I'm to the left, but I don't want to be told by Chris Evans that if I have an issue with two women kissing in Lightyear, that I'm an idiot and a dinosaur, and I should go, and one day I'll be dead. And then we won't have to worry about me. Nobody wants to hear that, in the same way that when Hillary Clinton called Trump supporters deplorables.
Okay,
I just went, that's it. We lost the election. That's it. Trump won.
Why is there two women kissing in a children's movie?
I don't know. And that's what even though I'm not a fan of Tim Allen, but I think that if people want to watch Last Man Standing, and he's a Republican and he's very vocal with his views, then that's their right. But Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
It's that simple. So don't replace him, especially when Tim Allen has a deal set up with Disney to do a Santa show. So that doesn't make sense to me. You want to keep, and so I think there's three things, and then Disney really focused on, well, if you have a problem with the two women kissing, then you're a racist. And like, nobody's thinking that until you tell them that.
Well,
it's
racist,
like 3 seconds. There's all this stuff that Disney put out there, in the same way with Kenobi, with what's the black character, Ezra?
Oh, Ezra Miller.
Well, the character that she plays.
Flash. Oh, who?
No, and Ben Kenobi, the black woman. What's her name?
Oh, God, you're right.
Is the character Ezra, something like that?
No, the character's not. Ezra's not the name.
Is that her name?
Reva.
Okay, so even before Ben Kenobi came out, they were pushing this whole thing that if you don't like her because she's black, if you don't like the character because she's black, you're a racist. You're going to be. So they already set it up in people's heads. If they just released the show without doing the whole thing of you're a racist, then I don't think anybody would have had any problem, because
that was before the movie came out.
That was before the series came out. Yeah.
Okay.
And when they were promoting it, which is why you had a lot of backlash. In the original Ben Kenobi script, she is in it. That character is in it, but Ben kills her. The big change they did was she lives, and because I guess they're planning on doing a second season. But these companies are doing these things where they're purposely going out of their way, like Rian Johnson and some of these people are going out of their way, calling people racist before the movie even comes out. Kind of like with Charlie's Angels and the director of that saying, if you're a man, you need to don't go see this movie. You're a male chauvinist. You don't like women. And then
wouldn't you think that like Charlie's Angels would have been a more or less for men, because it's three hot fucking women,
yes,
men love to go see, and men love to see women kick ass. Like I loved Buffy, as when I grew up, I loved Buffy because Buffy was a strong female character. I liked looking at Sarah Michelle Gellar because she was gorgeous, and I loved seeing her in spandex kicking ass. Doesn't make me a chauvinist in any way, and I liked Faith, which was Eliza Dushku's character, because she was like the anti-Buffy. She was more, like she didn't play by the rules, and she, but, and I and I'm gonna say this, I loved Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman, because we really did go off the track a little bit, but like we normally do, but but I really liked her in this, because most of the time she is a fucking badass. Like, she's doing all these cool tricks.
She's beautiful. I love the accent that she has. She seems to be a smart person.
How do people not see who she is, though? Like, because like most people like at her work know her as Diana Prince.
Because she's hiding. That's the thing is, I guess after the events of the first
I know.
film,
I'm just saying
she
when you
hasn't been
see
Wonder
her,
Woman.
you can tell that's her. You can tell
Well,
that's still the Diana Prince.
Max points it out near the end. He goes, "Oh, he's like, oh, you're too late, Diana."
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty obvious of who she is. It's not
So
like
it's not like
Superman where
she's
she takes
hiding
the
like her
glasses on and off.
identity, but
No, no,
yeah.
and I remember when she got attacked for not having breasts. That if you remember, all Amazons are supposed to be large breasted.
Really?
Wonder
Are
Woman
they?
TV show is large breasted. Yeah, Amazons are supposed to have large breasts.
Linda
They're supposed
Carter
to,
had a large breast.
yeah, just look at her. Yeah,
Uh,
she has very large breasts just in real
I
life.
never,
Yeah.
I never, I never know. I don't know.
Yeah, she constantly had that cleavage going in the costume. And I remember when see, now I'm paranoid to say her name. When see, now I'm gonna Godot. I'm just gonna say it wrong every time now because now I'm paranoid. When I think she was on a talk show, and it was one of those shows where it's celebrities read mean texts, like text messages. And one of the messages to her was, "Why does Wonder Woman have no breasts?" And she looks down at herself and goes, "They're there." It's just they're just not as big as what people are used to when it comes to Wonder Woman or an Amazon. But to me, it never bothered me. It's just like she looks like Wonder Woman. She does a good job as both characters. And so I don't know why people had a problem with that, because unless they're just going off of tradition. It's like Tomb Raider. When the new Tomb Raider movie came out, the actress didn't look like Angelina Jolie, and Angelina Jolie has large breasts. And because I guess the game does. So instead, this woman had smaller breasts. And then remember, that was a big deal. But it's like, I don't know, as long as she could play the character, does it really matter? But but a lot of these studios are really attacking the fans before the movies come out. And to me, that is the dumbest thing that you could possibly do. And then they're making the stuff really woke. And it's like Wonder Woman really is, just like Charlie's Angels, is a man-hating movie. But yet, when they tried to figure out why did Charlie's Angels bomb, they did they did research, and they found out percentage-wise, more men went to go see the movie than women did. So what does that tell you? It's a movie aimed at women, but no women went to go see it.
Well, and that's another thing is like, I don't know, the woke population is definitely smaller than most every other of the women population. And that's the problem, is like, the woke women are pretty much saying this is, you have to agree on this, or whatever, right? I have some friends who might be sort of, they're not woke, but they're not, they're very opinionated, and they're very, they'll tell you, but they won't, they'll agree that they're not, that they don't, they're not like that. And so I'm just, I like seeing the population being like, starting to realize that not everybody's going to be on board for everything that a certain population wants. Like if you, okay, here's an example that I'm probably going to get in trouble for, but I'm going to say it anyway. There was the big deal about women's rights, which sucks, right? And then there was a lot of women and a lot of men that were saying, you can't celebrate 4th of July because our freedoms were taken away. And I did not celebrate 4th of July.
I did not either, because of that reason.
Yeah. But there are going to be people that say, if you did celebrate it, I'm not going to be friends with you. I'm not going to like you. And you're going to be the enemy. And I'm like, that is not a way to like,
no, and yeah, that's, and I don't think that you'd get in trouble for that at all, because it's true. Is I did not put up for, except for a company that was a VCI or whatever they're called, that has a sale going on for like 5 days that says 4th of July sale. I didn't put up anything that represents the 4th of July.
Right.
because I don't think this is what the founders wanted. I don't think, if John Adams and Ben Franklin and all those guys were alive today, I think that they'd be freaking terrified of what this country has turned into. And I had brought up like Obi-Wan Kenobi to you a while back, and you said that that the black actress, that she got a lot of hate mail and stuff, and that was very racist.
She got emails and I guess messages on her Twitter or something with
And
people like literally sending her saying the N-word and stuff like that to her and things.
And it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And then of course Ewan McGregor had to speak out and say, look, we here at Disney and Star Wars love her. And you know what? I will say this. I was not a fan of her in the first two episodes, and it was not because of her skin color, and it was not because she's a woman. In fact, I love her more because she's a badass woman. What I didn't love about her is because they did not set up enough about this character, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to like follow her into understanding that why she wants to attack Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I was like, I don't like her. She's too over dramatic. She's too, over the top. The way she talks bothered me on that, like her dialogue and stuff. It just, all of that bothered me. Nothing to do with, but of course you can't say that online or you're racist, and that's a sad thing. Like there's a lot of people out there that will just attack you because you disagree with them because the person, and they'll say, oh, you're a racist because you don't like her because she's black. No. Now,
no, if you bring up story, like now, of course, I haven't seen it, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is probably one of the only ones that I would watch. But it's, from what I understand, is she's supposed to be pretty evil. She cuts people's hands off, and then at the end of the series, is she redeems herself. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is, no, once again, bad story writing. If you're going around hurting people, you can't redeem yourself. Darth Vader redeemed himself by killing I guess he didn't kill the Emperor, but it's, he did kill the Emperor allegedly, and then he died. And nobody
he didn't kill the Emperor because bad storytelling. They brought him, that
is bad storytelling, is bringing the Emperor back. But
because they did that because fucking Rian Johnson fucked up the timeline of story stuff, because Kathleen Kennedy and all of them are just like, do whatever you want and
get rid of Snoke. Get rid of Snoke.
Yeah. Get rid of Snoke. He would have been a cool villain to keep going. He could have been the next Emperor. Why did they?
Because it's Rian Johnson and he has an agenda, just like Kathleen Kennedy does. It's all of these movies, to kind of get back to Wonder Woman and stuff. It's once you start putting in identity politics, once you start putting in all of these things, then you have a huge problem. And if you're going to force it on people, then you're going to have a huge problem with it, especially when every man is looked at as being dumb, just like Max Lord in this. Is he in prison? He should be in prison.
Yeah, he literally tried.
He literally almost destroyed the entire world, and then he helicopters down and just starts yelling his kid's name out, and his kid magically finds him.
I know that was silly because, like, how did he know exactly where his kid was? I don't know, but it sort of made me laugh. But
and he's telling everybody to make wishes, so they all make wishes. Now think about the people who made wishes like, I wish my husband would not beat me, or I wish my mother didn't die of cancer, or things like that. I wish my family had food. For him then to,
remember that one guy wished that one chick died, and she just
dropped dead.
I was like, ouch, man, that's pretty dark for a fucking kids movie.
But then he retracts it. But it's like, can you imagine that your or your favorite
They don't
pet.
show those things.
Yeah, because then it's so stupid. She's on the ground. There's the Wonder Woman. She's on the ground with a ton of noise around her. Where the fuck is the microphone? I have no idea. And she's just kind of talking like this. Hey, world, you need to take back your wishes because this world is a great place. One, no, it isn't, because you saw a guy with a fucking machine gun, and this is a great thing. And every person in the entire world redacted their wish. No, I wouldn't have. If I sat there and said my mother died of cancer,
well, did
she's
everybody
now
in the world?
back.
Did everybody? Did like
it would have to make things go back to normal.
Yeah,
because that's what the one guy said. Like the guy that showed them the book, and he's like, yeah, the town didn't, or the city didn't take back the wishes, and then it was destroyed.
Right.
So to me, it's that type of stuff that is so stupid and poorly done in this.
Yeah.
And I've made jokes about this film where I did put up on Facebook, Wonder Woman 1984 is the new Superman 3. But I wouldn't go much further than that, because I personally thought that I would be attacked because, it's a woman director, it's a woman co-writer, it's a woman actress, it's a woman co-producer. You're obviously attacking women. And it's like, no, because I praise the original movie.
Right.
So it's like you can't win.
Yeah.
In these type of discussions.
Like right now we're at a very heated time in political discussions, and so a lot of times I try not to say much, like really when I'm on Facebook these days, I'm literally just promoting what I'm putting out and everything. And if it's something like this where we discuss this kind of stuff or whatever, I don't go, hey everybody, listen to us discuss this kind of stuff, because like I don't want to necessarily draw attention to somebody coming up and going, oh my God, Jonathan, you are complete and total sexist. Oh my God, you're total, you're not okay with black actresses taking on roles because you thought their acting was bad. That's terrible. You're, whatever. I'm not. What I'm trying to say when I do these kind of things is that when I watch the movie, I just enjoy it for, like, was I entertained? Was I entertained? And at the end of the day, did Wonder Woman 3 entertain me? And honestly, Wonder Woman 2. That's true. I'm ahead of my time.
I'm thrilled with Wonder Woman 3 right now, because there is none.
Guess we'll find out when Wonder Woman.
I just want people to acknowledge that things have bad writing. That's why I post stuff, and there are enough credible people out there that that I will do a post on, that I'll put on Facebook, pointing out like the critical drinker who I watch all the time, and I post a lot of his stuff on Facebook because he's right. So when he talked about Wonder Woman, when he talked about Obi-Wan Kenobi, when he talked about some other films, that bad writing is bad writing, and that's what most people talk about. Is you can enjoy Wonder Woman 84, that's fine, but just acknowledge that it's bad writing.
Right. I will say that I didn't think of it as bad writing, and now that you have pointed it out, yes, there's some terrible plot holes, there's some terrible issues with the movie, there's terrible dialogue throughout. But once again, by the end of the day, like, was I entertained? Did it, for a 2.5 hour long movie, it didn't feel that way to me. Now, some people might say it did. I don't know. It felt to go by pretty quickly. I enjoyed it.
I feel, and I don't mean for this to be insulting, I feel that's the problem. Was I entertained? And that's the thing. When you look at something like Jurassic Park Dominion, which garbage. It is so horribly written. I'm sorry, there's a reason why the film has not hit $1 billion yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the last in the series, which is what they said the problem was with the Disney sequels, is that Rise of Skywalker should have made more money than any of them, because it's the last one in the series, and it didn't. Right. It actually made it made the least. And so far, Dominion is making, more money than some of the other Jurassic Park films. but it's not making the amount of money that they probably thought that it would. And
Right.
that's because it's just lazy, bad writing. That is the film. It's nicely shot, you know, the effects look good and all that. I just don't like Chris Pratt. I just do not think he's a leading
I know
man.
you hate him.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know a
think
lot of
he's good
people who
looking.
hate him, but a lot of people hate him because of his, you know, church and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I could care less where he goes and worships. I could care less that he does go and worship. Like that's you know what I mean?
But so does
Like,
Denzel Washington, and he's a great actor, and we like his movies. So, and I'm a big Tom Cruise fan, and he's in Scientology. So
right.
if you, as long as, and I know Tom Cruise for a little bit, for like a couple of years, and I think a lot of it had to do with his sister being his manager, that he was promoting all that stuff, and that's when he did the weird jump on the sofa, you know, with Oprah and all that type of stuff.
My
that I
mom
think,
always talks about that because she hates him because of that.
yeah,
And I'm like, he did that like years ago. He was just, I think he was, I felt like he was on drugs, even though they're technically Scientologists.
I think he was
allowed
told
be
to
on
say
drugs.
it. He was told to do it. I mean, it was part of the script, and it was just a mistake. But if you can, as long as Chris Pratt isn't bringing his religion into movies,
Right.
then that's fine. Then whatever. I just don't like him as an actor. I just don't think he's a good actor. I don't think he's a good leading man. I don't think that he can hold a movie on his own. I thought the Tomorrow War was awful, and
I
I have a
didn't
cat
see
with
that,
me.
but I like the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I really do. I think he's great as Star-Lord.
I would say he's fine as Star-Lord. I would say because he's a goofball, but
right.
he
And
actually
it
made me
fits.
stop watching Park and Recreations. I stopped because I can't handle this character. I can't handle him. This is a guy who should be put down like they do cattle, and it's, I can't stand him. And later, when I came back, when it was on streaming years and years later, I watched it, and unfortunately, he's from episode 1 to the very last one, and I'm like, fuck, this is awful. This is one of the worst characters television has ever produced. So I don't know if anybody could have made it better or maybe worse, but yeah, I just don't like him. So, but
you know,
it's,
that's understandable. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Chris Pine. A lot of that might be the fact that Chris Pine is a Star Trek guy, and I don't watch it, and I've never seen anything other than Wonder Woman or whatever that Chris Pine has done that's shocked me into like going, oh my god, this guy's a great actor. You know, he's just like, okay, he's
they've
that guy.
tried to put him into other things and it hasn't worked. You know, they tried putting him as what's the Tom Clancy character?
Oh, was he in what it wasn't Jack Reacher?
No, Jack
oh yeah, the other guy, the Jack Ryan.
They tried a movie with him, Shadow Recruit, and that failed.
Yeah.
So they've tried to put him in other stuff and it just doesn't seem to work. So, but but once again, to go back to Wonder Woman, I don't have a problem with the casting or anything, as I actually like Kristen Wiig, and I like who was in this.
I liked her, except some of the comedy felt too comedy,
Improv-y.
you know. Well, no, it just felt too much like, oh my god, we're having Kristen Wiig play Kristen Wiig. I mean, like, you know, where she's like, the line that sums it up the most for her character that she plays in every fucking movie is when she's like talking to the girl, and the girl's like, the boss or whatever is like, it was nice to meet you, and she was like, we've met, you know, right? And I'm just like
3 times.
Like 3 times. Like that sounds so Kristen Wiig, and I'm just like,
well, I'm
tired of her being her. Like, I was really happy that she did that. Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, which I was actually there at the. There's like a test screening, and I was helping do some of the stuff on it. And so she was there, and they were doing 2 test screenings of it. And I was like, what the fuck is Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar? Like, I haven't heard anything about this. Like, this sounds silly. And then I watched the movie, and I'm like, Okay, it's Kristen Wiig playing somebody different, like sort of like a crazier
Boris,
your
would you
kitty.
jump?
Your kitty's enjoying himself. But yeah, it was like Kristen Wiig just playing somebody different, and I liked that, but I didn't like the movie. I watched like half hour of it, and I was like, I can't get into it. It's too annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch a lot of stuff that she's in, but for this, that's why she kind of reminded me of Richard Pryor and Superman 3. And I thought that she was doing a little bit of Ghostbusters in there, because the probably her character in the script was not as nerdy,
Yeah.
unless maybe they're friends with her and like, hey, let's get Kristen Wiig to play
That's
Cheetah.
what I thought. That's what I thought. I think I even say it in my little video, is that like I thought like, they're like, let's get somebody like Kristen Wiig. Oh, we can actually get Kristen Wiig, and then they just, cast her in this movie, and it's pretty much Kristen Wiig just being Kristen Wiig. And to me, that was sort of a little bit annoying. I didn't care for the comedy. And here's my problem with DC.
And there's a lot of it.
The problem with DC is they're usually really bad at comedy. When they put it into Batman v Superman, at times it's cringy. It's like they're trying to be Marvel, because Marvel's pretty damn good at comedy, but they have comedy writers. The people they hire for DC are dark.
Well, that's the thing. Comedy. That's why I used to like DC more than Marvel, because when the Flash died. Mm-hmm. But then it wasn't until years later that all of a sudden the Flash died, and then like 2 years later it was like, oh my God, look, the Flash is back. All of a sudden, like, he came through some alternate universe timeline or something, and then it was like, oh, okay, we're now going to start to do this, where all of a sudden every character that dies they're going to bring back. Right. And that's, but I liked DC before that, because if a sidekick of Batman died, he died, and then somebody else would take over. And so that's what I liked about them. And I don't know why Warner and all that cannot get the DC guys right. I don't know what the problem is.
See, there are people out there that I'm really good friends with that will fight me on that fact that, when I see somebody die, like Chris Pine died, oh, let's bring it back. I usually like that, because I usually like that character, and I didn't want him to die originally. Like, he shouldn't have died, but people feel like they need to have those characters die, because then,
you need that loss. Character. If you don't have loss, then there's absolutely no point, which is why I've always said, like, in Return of the Jedi, Lando should have died. The Falcon should have blown up. Han Solo even says, he looks right at the Falcon and goes, I have a bad feeling about this. No, I'm sorry. No, he goes, I have a feeling I'm not going to see her again. Something like that. Almost having this kind of premonition that something bad is going to happen. So when they go to destroy the Death Star and the Falcon is flying out and Lando's like, woohoo, and that like French alien is like, woohoo, and they're going out, is a fireball should have come out and engulfed the Falcon and exploded it. Because you need loss. If every single one of our main characters lives, then what's the point? Which is why Solo should have died in carbonite freeze, which is what Harrison Ford wanted. The
death he died was so pathetic. Almost not even like worthy of whatever paycheck Han Solo, or Harrison Ford got. I hated that he died so easily. He just gave his life up like that. I just felt like it was such a
in Force Awakens.
In Force Awakens, yeah, it's just the worst death, honestly. And it's, I'm gonna say it, it's kind of like it's Dewey's death, in Scream. I felt like Dewey shouldn't have died. Not yet. I think he should have at least
not yet. He's been in 5 movies.
I know, he should have it's the 6th movie he should have died.
Why 6 instead of 5?
Well, because
what's the difference?
because if they kept doing it, it would have it would have shocked people because people are going to be expecting him to die. You know, if he had, because people were like, there was no.
I don't think people were expecting Dewey to die. I think that was
Well, I
actually
mean,
when
he died, I don't think it was a shock. Nobody I know was ever like, oh man, that's so sad that Dewey died. Everybody was just like, okay, that happened.
All right, so that it wouldn't have made a difference if it was 4 or 5. I mean,
No, it
5 or 6.
it would have made a difference because
Why?
we would have been shocked. I feel like because we would have sort of been
I
expecting.
don't
Like,
see the difference.
I don't know.
I don't see the
had a
difference.
thing.
So if one of the legacy cast members didn't die in the new Scream, I would have been pissed. Because technically now they should kill off Gale in 6.
But then that's going to be obvious that that's what they're going to do next.
Well, it matters if they're going to continue, if this is going to be a straight trilogy, or if they're going to do a trilogy, then another trilogy, then another trilogy, then yeah, then keep her around. But that's the thing, is that you have to have loss. People have to die to be able to make something like Lord of the Rings, like the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings. Sean Bean's death meant something. You have to kill people off, especially heroically, to make it mean something. If every single person made it from the Shire to the volcano and all the way back and shit, and not one of them died, it would be meaningless. What's the point? There was no sacrifice. So
that's true.
You have to have that. I mean, it's
well,
classic storytelling.
Gollum.
Well, he did jump. He jumped into the volcano.
Yeah.
He went after the ring.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, you would have gotten that at least. I
mean, that's the one thing that maybe I did like with Wonder Woman 84 is that she brings Steve back, and how fucked up is it that he has to die again? That's kind of screwed up.
But then again, he accepts it because he's supposed to be dead.
Right. Well, and it's the only way for her to get her powers back.
Right. So,
which is very random on what the stone takes. I mean, why couldn't it take her hair color? Why couldn't it turn her skin blue? Why couldn't, why does it have to be her powers? If a doctor made a wish, would it take away his eyes? Or his hands?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the power and I don't like it was never fully established. And there was more talk about ancient civilizations and other stuff instead of like what is the stone, and stuff. And I kind of wish there was a little bit more backstory on the stone. Maybe there could be a spinoff about the stone.
Oh God, no! It'd probably be 3 hours long. This was long enough as it is. Man, this movie did not have to be 2.5 hours. And to me, it felt like 2.5 hours.
I liked the whole stuff about the Mayan civilization, Romulus, and all that stuff. I was more intrigued by that. I was like, "Where's that story?"
And remember, Alien vs Predator is the beginning of that. Is the Predators back in Mayan times?
Right.
With the aliens. And so we did get this little bit of a backstory on why are they on Earth, and what is this pyramid that they find. And so we get this history that we don't get here. We don't get to see that prologue of.
Maybe that would have been the better opening than the Olympic stuff. Like the stone, like where did the stone come from before it came? Because
I think so.
Other than the fact that we find the stone was in the back of a bank or something, or whatever.
Oh no, it's a jewelry place that's doing black market.
Which I'm like, really?
How stupid was that whole scene inside the shopping mall? I mean, come on. The guys walk in there. They look very obvious. They just steal a bunch of shit. They leave. For some reason, the guy, oh, I can't handle my suitcase. Oh, why is he with you then if he can't handle a fucking suitcase? He then drops his gun. Woman panics. He's got a gun. Everybody freaks out. He grabs the little kid.
That little kid scene would piss me off. Like, why are you doing this? Like,
over it. And he goes, I'm not going back to prison. Yes, you are. You just threatened the kid's life.
Yeah.
What are
Like
you
you're
talking
not,
about? How stupid is this?
there's no way he was not getting out of there without going to prison or going to whatever,
The only
So
thing I
anyway,
liked it in that whole beginning is I like when she saves like the little black girl, and the little black girl like skids across the ground and
yeah,
hits into
they're
the
all
teddy bear.
smiling.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
smiling like it's a game. She's having fun, and then they
By the
wink
way,
to each other. That I liked.
that was filmed in DC and for real. And a friend of mine is in that scene. So I'm watching it and I go, is that Ken? Is that Ken Peebles? And I look over and I take a picture of it and I send it to Ken, and Ken's like, yep, that's me. And it was where the people are aerobicizing. One of my friends was one of the aerobicizers too. Didn't realize. I looked it up on IMDb and saw Rachel Lang, who was one of my actresses, was one of the aerobicizers, and he's staring at their butts. He's the black guy that's going like this.
Oh, okay, I remember him.
You remember that? See, he stood out, and I'm like, that's awesome. Like, cause he, like,
Now,
I saw it, I go, whoa.
that I will say it was real, because I call this a man hating movie and it's just men watching women's asses. That I will say is true, because when I was a kid and that was a show that was
Right.
on the cable box,
Yeah,
and we would try to
Robosize
get
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah, and we would try to get it because you had to have like that channel, you had to subscribe to it. So we try to get it illegally just to watch women do that stuff. And then if you remember in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, the morgue attendant,
Oh
Axel,
yeah.
that's 1984, and he's watching them do the exercise.
I was thinking more along the lines of what is it? In part 4, Corey Feldman's like staring outside, and then he's like watching somebody undress or something, and he's like,
and
on the bounce,
overreacting.
bouncing up and down.
That's
going,
a weird scene. I was that age and I never did any of that. That was a very strange
so excited
thing.
I was like, did he just pop his first boner? Like, what
Yeah,
the
maybe.
fuck?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Like, he just didn't know what was going on. But that was the funniest scene in the movie. But that's what I remember. I remember that, but I do remember the aerobicizes, like him watching it, and then Jason goes and kills him or whatever while he's watching the aerobicize stuff. But I don't know it, but anyway, that whole scene was sort of silly, with all
it's very silly.
But it was fun to me. Like, it was fun seeing her go around and get everybody and lasso them all up, and
but for somebody who wanted to be secret, who wanted to stay undercover, just because she takes her head thing off, her band off, and knocks out 4 cameras when there's cameras throughout the entire mall, and you got the reporters outside going, a mysterious person. No, dude, just go look at one of the other cameras. You're going to see it's a woman who looks just like that. Wait, hold on. I can't get my finger right whenever I do this. Just like what you have. I'm trying to. I can never get my hands right. And that's all they have to do. She's going to be on video.
Yep.
No matter what. So why she chose to go out that day, and with how many people she saved outside the mall, she saved that woman jogging. There was the bride. There were all these people. Once again, men being assholes because the man almost hit the woman jogging.
Well, yeah, and then the man like knocks over the woman who's the bride, and everything, and knocks whatever. So there's a lot of that, but it was so strange. It was because, like, how did she know all of this stuff would happen? Like, how is she there when all of this stuff will happen? Like,
unless they're retconning that she was in hiding.
No, but I'm just
she's
saying,
just
like,
out there day to day and just kind of hanging out, waiting for stuff to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. No,
and then it's weird that her suit is under her clothes.
That's a Superman thing, isn't it? Like,
but Superman, it's skin tight.
Yeah.
This is not skin tight. If you look at your picture, that's supposed to be armor.
Right. So
like Amazon armor. And when they're in like Saudi Arabia and she's driving with Chris Pine and they're coming up on the convoy, she just all of a sudden you see her start to unbutton her shirt, And then that cuts to her outside the car with the Wonder Woman outfit on. Like, so she still had to put on, the bracelets. She still had to put on the head thing. Where was all this?
I don't know. Upper
I mean,
ass. I don't know. Like,
and another scene on that just drives me nuts is the scene with the kids playing ball. So these kids are so stupid and deaf that they can't hear a convoy coming.
Oh, the ones in the street.
Yeah,
She
playing
has to go
ball.
save.
Yeah,
And then she
the
tells
kids,
them like afterwards, don't play in the street.
well, she's like, it's a secret type of thing. But yet their parents are all around.
Yeah.
So the parents saw her swing in.
Also, she picks up the kids and then they roll on the ground. That's gonna hurt, by the way.
And those kids look fake too. Those kids look like dummies. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like rolling around with them. And then she gets up and they're not crying at all. Like, I'm sorry, but if you were rolling around on the ground like that, you'd be in pain. Like,
yeah.
You'd be screaming in pain.
Well, and Chris Pine is using different ways so she can use the lasso. Like he sends that missile up and she uses that to lasso over.
That was pretty cool though. She's holding on to it and
but how could she fly?
She flies at the end, right?
How does she fly? And I love his logic for flying, for like flying a plane, where he's like, it's air, it's wind. Well, okay. Also, it has to do with electronics and science.
Did they go into space?
In space?
Did they go into space? Because no. Remember they saw the fireworks, which is pretty cool. It's 4th of July. So
he went above the so maybe my fireworks are appropriate for this video. She flies above the clouds. And she looks down and she could see all the different colors.
Okay. So almost for me, it felt like they were in fucking out space.
She almost goes into space when she's lassoing clouds, which makes no sense. I'm sorry. Wonder Woman cannot fly. She may be able to jump far, maybe like Superman, but she can't fly, especially when his words are in her head when she's doing the flying thing.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't explain flying. That's me explaining flying to you because I know nothing about flying.
All right. So to sum it all up anyway, because we've talked for a while and I don't know. We're already
we're
2 hours.
Yeah, we're at the end. So
I'm just gonna say once again that this isn't a 5-star, 4-star movie. This is a 3-star movie.
3-star. Oh my God.
Yes. I know you would probably give it 2 stars or 1 star or whatever.
Thank God I filled this with vodka.
I know. I give it a 3-star because it really entertained me, kept me focused. I watched. I probably didn't watch it as much as you've seen it more than once.
I've seen it. So this is my 3rd time.
Oh God, poor guy.
Such a waste.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a waste because we got something out of it.
I first saw it as a bootleg, and then I saw it when it came out on HBO, and still hated it, and then I watched it again for this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I knew I wasn't going to be able to change your mind, but like I said, I was entertained. It kept me.
That is your right.
But I will say that I agree with you that there's poor writing, there's poor direction. Patty Jenkins needs to make sure that if she does the next one, that it's not all over the place, and not messy, that if they do another one, which I'm guessing they will, they're planning to. Also will be run by Discovery, so it should be interesting to see.
Well, let's just hope Ezra Miller or Amber Heard aren't in it.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Is
I think right now they're on hold. Fuck, what do we do? We got 2 major movies coming out, and we don't know what to do. I think
they've already Aquaman 2. They fixed that. They've already, I believe, last I heard, Amber Heard, she is being cut out of the movie, and
so
being replaced.
This is what I heard. they're test screening 3 versions of the movie. They're test screening the actual movie with her in it, like with all of her scenes, like how they were going to release it before this whole thing. Then they're test screening one where she's in the movie for like 8 to 10 minutes. And then they're test screening one where she's in the movie for almost 30 minutes. So it's an extended cut with her in it that they're not going to cut her out because it's too expensive. They're not going to CGI somebody in because it's too expensive because she's in a lot of the scenes. I think probably their bigger problem is the Flash, because Ezra Miller is in, they've said is literally in every single scene in the movie, including playing 2 Barry Allens. So
now, I read somewhere that they were thinking, I don't know if they are going to do it or not, but they were thinking of just putting the Flash onto HBO Max instead of
there were
theatrical.
three ways that they were going to do it. One is just not release the movie at all and take a loss. 2,
I think that would be their best, the best thing. I hate to
but
say
then you're
it.
missing out on Michael Keaton. You're missing out on Ben
you can
Affleck.
always recut. You could recut all that. You could redo it. Just redo all that shit.
I don't think they want to go through the Schneider cut again, type of thing. You know, that was AT&T, but not Discovery. But then there was just dump them. It's just disregard the movie entirely, start from scratch type of thing. The other one was, release it on HBO Max. And then the other one is release it in the theater, but don't put any press behind it. Do no marketing, do nothing, just dump it in the theater and let it make some money. And that's it. Because they said that's the big problem is Ezra Miller, but both Amber Heard and Ezra Miller, their contracts are up. So they're not going to, renew them. And this new guy who's with Discovery, I'm very interested in what he's going to do. I've taken an interest in what these presidents and CEOs and all that stuff do with these companies.
I've been sort of seeing what's, seeing and hearing different things. The problem with the internet now is like everybody is doing rumors, pretty much. Oh, this is what so-and-so said. This is what so-and-so said. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I say this. And, and we don't know until we know. So the things I've heard is that Ezra, that there's going to be new people that taking over, and there's going to be like 3 different divisions of Warner Brothers or something, and one person there's going to be a bunch of people, a couple people that actually take those different things. Like they're actually organizing it better, because if you look at it, there's not just DC, but there's also Harry Potter, and there's what the other stuff that Warner Brothers does that's non-franchise, and I think that's the 3 versions. So there's just Warner Brothers Media, which is everything else. Then there's Warner Brothers DC and Warner Brothers Harry Potter. And the problem, and to go back to like Warner Brothers being a fucking crazy, is like they're not getting rid of J.K. Rowling's, and J.K. Rowling's is way making a big problem with them, with the things she's saying and the things she's doing.
She was somebody who, at one point, women, not I don't think young women, but I think older women, because she got divorced, and then she started writing these books, and it became huge, and she became,
she was apparently she was poor and homeless or something.
Yeah, so she's a great story for, I think, older women, moms and stuff, like divorcees and all that, to follow. And then all of a sudden she comes out with, boys have penises, women have vaginas, and which now I don't think you could do in a movie, like Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is she writing the next Kindergarten Cop?
The next Kindergarten Cop would be the little kid goes, boys have vaginas, or boys have vaginas, girls have penises, and they can as well. So boys have penises, girls have vaginas, but then boys have vaginas and girls have penises also. So it'd be much longer. I don't think that quote would be as good, but
you should ask me, Miko Hughes, if he'll ever say that, like that whole line of, I actually met Miko. He's a really nice guy. He's But he's really good friends with my co-writer Colleen, so we were chatting about her for a little bit, and
That's cool.
he's a sweet dude. But it's so funny because I the whole time I just wanted him to say those lines. And I was like, shut the fuck up, Jonathan. Just don't do that. It's almost like going up to the guy from Princess Bride, Vizzini, Wallace Shawn, and saying, hey, can you say inconceivable to me, please? He hates that. He hates it. He will not actually say inconceivable.
I would rather have him quote from My Dinner with Andre, but that's okay. I like Princess Bride, but I don't get the fascination with it. But
I grew up on it, like literally.
Like literally, you were born on the VHS cassette of it.
Yes.
Well, that's no, because I was like your mother gave birth to you, and there just happened to be the
no. I was my year was ET, so it would have been ET that I maybe that maybe
but
happened.
To finish off what we were saying is DC has a huge problem, and I personally, even though I do watch a lot of HBO Max stuff and I do like DC, I do think people should protest it. I don't think people should. I think because of the shit that they did with Johnny Depp, that because of what one person said and that was never proven, and he gets fired from frigging everything. But yet here you have, a pedophile, Ezra Miller, who's a nut job who beats up women and grooms young women. Oh, they're not going to fire him. And then Amber Heard, all clearly know she lied.
This goes to the problem we have with America, which is anybody who claims that they're LGBTQ, anybody who claims that they're a woman, or whatever, anybody who claims that they're trans and stuff and every other issue, they all of a sudden, if you try to fire them, they'll say, oh, you can't fire me because that's, you're against LGBTQ. I'm just going to go to LGBTQ community and tell them that you're firing me because of my, he did that in Hawaii with the cops arresting him. You can't arrest me. I'm trans. I want a trans cop to come here and, or whatever he said, something like that.
Nope.
Didn't he say that?
Nope.
What did he say?
Oh, no, I'm saying nope. I'm saying nope.
Okay, I thought you were saying he didn't say that, but
no. That's not. I don't play the alphabet game. I support, their rights. I support Black Lives Matter. I do all that stuff, but I'm not going to be forced to use pronouns. I'm not going to be forced to put pronouns on my Twitter account. I'm not going to be forced to do this. I'm sorry. If somebody wants to be called they or them, no, I'm not going to do it. And I already had one person say to me, a friend say to me, like, well, you should show them respect. And it's just like, respect is earned. It's not given. If I like you as a person, then yes, I'll respect you and I'll call you what you want. But Ezra Miller does not get my respect at all. This guy's a total douchebag and he's dangerous.
And I've heard other people actually say that too, of like, not necessarily the respect, but saying that they don't like him and they're not going to use his pronouns. And right there, I didn't say they's, their pronouns or whatever. I said his, because he's such a douche. He doesn't deserve any kind of respect from anybody about his thing. And the problem is I think I showed you that, like, I posted something on Twitter about like get rid of the Flash, and a lot of people said the same thing of like, what is it? The whole idea that we're going to lose the Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck stuff. And that sucks. That sucks. But then there were a lot, one guy was like, why are you going to ruin it for all those people who worked really hard for the movie? And I will say this, they got fucking paid. They did their job.
Grip is not going to make more money off of the movie.
Exactly. The people who will are people like Ezra Miller, who I guarantee you gets a fucking percentage of that movie.
Oh, he probably gets a bonus. He gets part of the back end.
Exactly.
He gets,
So if you're putting this out, you're putting more money in his pocket. And to me, this movie should just go bye-bye right now. Then they should restart over, do a whole movie with just Batman and the new Batmans and all that stuff, and make it cool and make it fun. And just cut this as a loss, because right now you are putting money in Ezra Miller's pocket, and you are saying that it's okay for him to act like this, and it's okay for him to do all that stuff, and it's not okay for him to groom 12-year-old girls and say, oh well, I'm LGBTQ and I don't I don't represent anything, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
oh yeah, I would much rather, even with my problems with Wonder Woman 1984, I would much rather have Wonder Woman 3 done the same way than support some groomer.
Right.
I would rather, because my issues with the new Wonder Woman is the story. It's not the director, it's not the actress, it's not the editor, it's not the producer, it's not, it's the story. What I have a problem with is that Warner Brothers and HBO and I guess Discovery and stuff, that they seem to be, in a way, they are protecting these two people, and they're firing somebody over a rumor. And still, when you look back, Johnny Depp may not be, the most sane person. He's obviously very eccentric, but when you see the guy dressing up like Jack Sparrow when he goes to kids' cancer wards, that's pretty awesome. Or if he stands in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, right, and they have video of people going, oh, that's got to be a robot, and then he like kind of walks around and goes up to him and stuff. Really, this guy's a dick. He may be a weirdo, but he's not beating Amber Heard. But yet you guys support this.
So anyway, real quick, so what you're saying is they'll fire Johnny Depp over a rumor, and they'll keep a groomer.
Oh snap!
Those just rhymed. I just noticed they rhymed, and I was like, we got to put that together.
Man, you're a poet, and you kind of knew it, but didn't really know it until you did it, and then
I did know it. I did know it. I know when I'm a poet. For me. But anyway, no, I agree. I think Johnny was and then it's so funny because I had these friends of mine on Facebook that were so anti Johnny because he was a wife beater or whatever they claimed, and he it's funny, it's really hard to say these things because like if Amber Heard really was was really hurt that badly by him, and usually when women are beat by somebody, they're scared of them. Like they don't. If you listen to any of her conversations with Johnny on the phones things, she was taunting him. She was saying nasty things to him. She was just evil. Like it sounded like her voice when she wasn't on the stand pretending to be somebody she's not. She sounds totally evil and narcissistic and horrible of a person.
Manipulator, all of that stuff.
I've heard somebody say that they heard stories of her being on set of Drive Angry, and she was a total terrible person to work with. I would say a word, but it's not appropriate to work with. And I don't want to, like, I just felt so sorry for Johnny as a person. But then again, I mean, he married her. Like, he probably knew what he was getting himself. And I'm not saying he probably wasn't a terrible person, but You know, it
I
comes
don't.
down.
I think that he's just a weirdo. I don't think that he's a terrible person, but he's probably he's probably just a weirdo. But a lot of the times, I mean, you do hear that people date and then they get married, and then one of them completely turns out to be something different. It's like
Right.
after marriage is all of a sudden where it goes straight downhill, but when they're dating, it's fine.
When they're dating, because
So
they're not showing their true selves. You know, you don't know somebody probably as well as you think you do until you marry them. And that's probably why I'm glad I'm single. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm just like, I'm kind of scared of people. People have more than one face, and people who think, oh man, not everybody is two-faced. That's a lie, you know, because everybody has more than one face. Because you don't, because there's so many. If you were to look at somebody and say, oh, that person is so sweet to every single person in the world, and doesn't talk behind anybody's back, and doesn't do this and doesn't do that, like exactly like everybody else in the world. You know what I mean? Like, we're all, we all have more than one face. And sometimes people don't see it at first, when they're dating, but later it's shown, and we don't, what can you do?
well, yeah, and I don't like to defend Amber Heard, but maybe she did get tired of Johnny's drinking. Maybe she did get tired of his pot smoking. Maybe she did get tired of his guitar
He did
playing.
other drugs, apparently, harder
Maybe,
drugs, I think.
yeah. I
don't
mean,
know.
I believe he did stuff. I think well, I think it like acid or shrooms or something like that too. So maybe she got tired of all that stuff. So nobody is innocent, but I think she definitely lied through this whole thing. So. But all right,
Yep.
should be. Oh, and I never gave my review on the film. So you gave it four out of five,
Three. Three.
three out of
Three out of
five.
five.
I'm gonna go one out of five.
That's okay. You hate the
I
writing. You hate
I give Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman, I will give that 4.
yeah, I gave
But
that
4 out
4,
of
and I
5.
give this one 3.
But yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those people that love Shazam. I'm one of those people
Shazam was
that
fun.
liked Aquaman a lot.
Aquaman was good.
But James Wan is a great director. So I
Well,
thought
see, and that's another worry is of course, with Amber Heard with Aquaman too, is Aquaman is the only film that DC has that broke $1 billion.
right.
So it's like, oh shit, what do we do?
So then I liked what's the other one? I liked the Suicide Squad more than Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the was better than
I like
but of
the
course we
James
haven't seen the
Gunn,
director's cut of that either. So maybe the director's cut's better.
Of what?
Suicide Squad.
Of Suicide Squad with the original director. So I don't know. It was fun. But I don't, I don't know. I liked Wonder Woman, but I didn't like Birds of Prey because I felt like
that sucked.
Because it
once again
not,
it was another man-hating movie. It was just,
well, because originally I think they wanted to do a Harley Quinn movie. Like that's what they wanted to do. But then they're like, can Harley Quinn hold up a whole movie? And yes, she could have. She did not need the Birds of Prey, but that she was not a part of. She was not a part of the Birds of Prey. But oh, they're girls. It's Birds of Prey. Let's make them all the, whatever. And that was a woke movie. And you know what? That was the problem at that time. And that's what's being changed. Is I remember them hearing that they were going to, and I'm pretty sure they're changing this now, but they were going to kill off Batman and Superman and have it be replaced by Batgirl and Supergirl, or whatever, Batwoman and Supergirl or something.
That's in the Flash.
Yeah. That's
it's been confirmed Superman is dead because we've already seen pictures of Superwoman, I guess, and she looks awful. But of course, these are just behind the scenes pictures of her, like up on wires and stuff.
Away. They can just make this disappear. It didn't happen. Move on.
But it's okay to have like what was the last film, the superhero one, where they go and they meet up with the other versions of the with it, and it's got the guy from The Office. It's a recent superhero film where it's Doctor Strange.
Oh, wait, what Office? I'm trying to wonder.
The guy from The Office, the actor from The Office.
Which actor from The Office?
The guy who plays the superhero in Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Fantastic Four. Okay, I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah, does he play Fantastic Four? He's Mr. Fantastic, right?
Yeah, he's Mr. Fantastic.
So that's okay to do if you're doing like an alternate universe type of thing,
right? To
have this type of thing. But in the Flash, if Superman is dead, and this is his replacement, and now Batwoman was such a fucking disaster on TV. Then this is dead. There's no reason to even continue this at all.
Nope. So I don't know.
Jim from The Office, but I'm just blanking on the actor's name, the director of A Quiet Place.
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, Office? What are you talking about, Doctor Strange? And I'm like,
I'm about to turn 55, right. Man. My brain is going to mush.
Well, no, I mean,
it really sucks.
I'm 40 and I couldn't remember that, but I was trying to think, and then I was like, oh,
well, I was being vague because I couldn't get any more out. I couldn't think of any more.
Yeah. Well, I'm upset about that because I just heard that there's a rumor going around that he will not be taking over as our Fantastic Four. There'll be another guy taking over probably for Mr. Fantastic. So I really liked him, and a lot of it was the fans wanted to see John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as their husband and wife. They want to see them as the husband and wife team for Fantastic Four. And I mean, I didn't want Emily Blunt in there, but just because I would rather just John Krasinski, but
I would whatever since I haven't seen the film. So I've just seen clips. That's about it. So all right, man. No, I even though it's a Sam Raimi movie, I haven't seen it. So I don't care. I've heard that's not even a Sam Raimi movie. So
yeah, it is. It's very Sam Raimi.
I've heard from many people. He's a director for hire, and it's more Spider-Man than it is Spider-Man 2. So
yeah, whatever. I enjoyed it, and I thought it was one of the most Sam Raimiest movies you're ever gonna get. But there's even like a references to Evil Dead in the movie. So but whatever, it's okay. Not everybody has to watch everything.
That's true. There's too much to watch. So, all right, man, let's wrap this up because it's getting late and I got stuff to do. And so
we've been talking for a while. So thank you.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks everybody. Hope you guys either do or don't go see Wonder Woman after whatever you agree on this. If you want to still watch it, I say go watch it. I
would say avoid it.
I know. That's our thing. We're like Siskel and Ebert. I give it a thumbs up and you give it a thumbs down, Go
see the new Top Gun. Go see Top Gun Maverick over this. So
yep, there you go. All right, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody. I will talk to you soon.
Bye.